Hello, everyone. Today I would like to talk about the importance of backing up SaaS applications, software as a service. Some of those would include Microsoft Office 365, Google Apps, Salesforce. Really important as your data is migrating to the cloud that you make sure that you have a good backup and recovery process for that data. I'm going to dive into the Office 365 portion of this and kind of focus on that as the majority of our clients use Office 365. We are a Microsoft partner, have been since 1998. That's 20 years now. God, I've been doing this for a long time. Just kind of exactly what our solution, Backupify, which is a Datto product, one of our vendors that we use, what it does, what it doesn't do, and why you can benefit from having this. So what it is it's a backup and recovery solution for Office 365, Google Apps, and Salesforce. They're currently redoing the Salesforce version of it, revamping it. That should be due out here towards the end of this year. But in a nutshell, what this product does is it'll take a snapshot of your cloud environment, Office 365 in this case, every 8 hours, so 3 times a day. What it is not a litigation archive. So for instance, in the healthcare industry and some other industries, it's extremely important that you save a copy of every email sent to and from and internally at your business, just in case you get sued or for whatever reason you need to go back and find that information. This doesn't do this. So for instance, if one of my employees sent something to another employee complaining about me, and then went around and deleted it from their sent items and then deleted it from their deleted items, and then the employee receiving that email deleted it from their inbox and then deleted it from their deleted items as well, this will not catch that. It'll catch it if it happens to take a snapshot during that time frame where that email sits there. But if someone goes through and deletes that content, odds are it's not going to catch this. Why do companies need to be backing up their email? Office 365 does have the ability to go ahead and restore some of your data. That it is up to them. Microsoft is on the hook to provide you the environment to use Office 365. They do have some things built in, so if you do happen to lose your data, you can go back and restore that data. That data is stored in their data centers for 30 to 90 days, depending on what data it is. And normally, depending on the extent of the restore that you're doing, you'll have to open up a support ticket with Microsoft. That support ticket, just to get started, is $500. And you can restore that data. What some use cases, I guess, for that is, for example, if you have a rogue employee that you're getting rid of or they're quitting, they can go through and delete their whole mailbox as they walk out the door. It can take, we actually just had this happen for a client not too long ago. Although we were able to restore all their data using the built-in tools with Microsoft Office 365, it took the technician a better part of 4 days to restore 16 gig worth of data. And then at that point in time, when we were able to restore it, we had to put it back into what's called a PST file. It didn't actually go back to the original mailbox. We had to provide it to the client as a PST file, which they could then add to their Outlook and then take a look through it. So it was, their data was there, but it was kind of a tedious process to get that back. With Office 365, your mailbox is safe as long as you have an active license. If you turn off that license, the data disappears along with it. So say you're a company that has 30 employees and you're wanting to get rid of somebody, but you want to keep that data around in case you need to use it. You have to have an active license for that, or you have to have another creative way of transitioning that paid mailbox into a shared mailbox. And that can be done, but that does require normally some kind of technical expertise, which we charge you for. So there's a cost associated with that as well. Data loss to permanent deletion. If you're using OneDrive to sync your files between different devices, or if you're using SharePoint Online, which is kind of like a server in the cloud, and you delete something there, you might not know when you deleted it. It might have been somebody else that deleted it, and you go back to use that data maybe a month or two down the line, and that data is not there. After 90 days, although my slide says 93, after 90 days that data is gone. And there's no way to roll back. Restoring files. A lot of backups work if you are taking or doing a restore of a backup. It'll write over what is already there, so you have the chance of overwriting something that you've updated since you needed to restore that data. So that's something you have to keep in mind as well. And then of course just the time it takes to restore something. Like I said, calling Microsoft, not only is it time consuming, but it does cost money to go ahead and do that restore. What sort of things are we seeing happen to your data? Besides the accidental deletion, ransomware is huge. Some of our clients have seen ransomware on their computers, and what ransomware is basically is getting somebody to click on a link and run a program on your computer. That program then takes every single Word document, Excel document, PDF, and encrypts it where you can't use it. And basically holds your data ransom. They'll say, okay, if you want to get all your data back, it's going to cost you so much Bitcoins, and they use Bitcoins because they can't be tracked. And if you don't have a good backup of your data, you might have to pay these people to get that data back. We do not suggest that you pay those people back, because once you become a target, guess what? They're going to target you again. But that is what some companies choose to do. Office 365 data is not invulnerable there. The same thing can happen. OneDrive is kind of like Dropbox or something similar to that, where you have local files that are then synced to different devices. Well, the thing that's syncing them is in the cloud. So if one of your devices happens to get ransomware, not only does your local device get encrypted, but that encryption then copies to the cloud, and then would copy down to your other devices as well, making quite the mess. One of the newer things that we've seen is now they have the ability to go ahead and encrypt your email. And there's another video that I can link to later on in this. A couple clicks, one of your users can click on something that asks them to log into their Office 365 account, which looks normal, and it is normal, it's legit. But then after that, there's another prompt that's asking you, is it okay to go ahead and have access to certain data? And if they say yes there, then bam, they can have all their email just turn into encrypted email, where you'll see it all listed there, but you can't access it unless you want to pay up. And one way of getting that data back, of course, is restoring from a good backup. As we spoke earlier, I spoke earlier about having active Office 365 accounts. If you do get rid of somebody, there's no need to hang on to that license or pay somebody to convert that data to something else. This would allow you to have all that information available indefinitely to go back on without any extra cost. Again, we discussed the data loss due to permanent deletion. Again, we're protecting most of the stuff that we're protecting. You protect from hardware failure. Well, if all your data is in the cloud, the risk of having hardware failure is a lot less. Microsoft and Google put a lot of money into having redundant servers and redundant locations, so the data is always available. But your users are the ones that are going to be doing this, whether it's accidental by falling for some kind of phishing scam, or just accidentally deleting something, or sometimes they move it to a different folder and have no idea where it's at, and it's a hard time finding that. Being able to just go in, have a couple clicks, and having your data back to the way it was is definitely valuable. And then data loss when you are restoring back to the same location, you can restore over the data that you're wanting to basically save. And business downtime. Again, this my one example of the client that lost their, or had an employee leave on them. That was 4 days without having that data. I do have an example myself. I was using my cell phone, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I don't know what I was doing on my phone, messing around, not paying attention. Next thing I know, I look down, and in my inbox, on my phone, my newest email was from December 31st of 2017. As I'm recording this, we're in 2018. All my email from 2018 that was in my inbox was gone. And I, like a lot of people, use my inbox for a to-do list. Things that are still in my inbox are things that I have to take care of and have to deal with. And at the time, I think I had about 70 or 80 emails in there, and they were gone. And at that point in time, I don't know what to do anymore because everything's gone. Went to my computer and took a look at my computer. Well, guess what? My computer syncs with my phone, and everything's gone there on my computer as well. Checked out my deleted items. They weren't in my deleted items. At that point in time, I had no idea what happened there. I think that's the third time I said at that point in time. I didn't have any idea what happened to my email, but I didn't care because I had this solution in place. Popped into the portal, selected my name, which I'll show you here in a little bit how easy it is to do a restore, and my data was back where it needed to be in about 10 minutes. So that peace of mind, the ease of use of getting your data back when you accidentally make a mistake, again, I'm the user, I messed up my own data, is really handy. OneDrive and some of the other programs that you're using to have your data in the cloud, that doesn't really give you revision control. There are different ways of kind of doing that, but for the most part you can't. With Backupify, our solution here, you can go ahead and restore different versions of your data. You can go back to restore points, yesterday or last month, last year, and you'll have 3 different times of that day that you can pick from and restore that data. So next here, I'm going to, so I want to give a quick, just little demo, I guess, of the interface and how this works in the back end. For the majority of our clients, this is something that we do for you. But since it is your data, we would set you up with an admin account where you could get in here and do this yourself. And again, since this is more of a disaster and recovery type solution as well, if God forbid the worst thing happens to us in a geographical type region, odds are it's going to happen to a lot of our clients, and you'll have a lot of people calling us, and we'll probably have problems ourselves. So being able to control your own data is definitely key. And with this is a Datto solution, and some of you are familiar with Datto as we have their backup devices out protecting your servers. You do get white glove service with that as well, straight from Datto. So we would give you your account information with Datto, a phone number, and you could call for whatever reason you didn't want to use us. We're not around. You can do that yourself. This is your data. You own it. So when we log into the interface here, we'll see the different sections of Office 365, and Office 365 itself is made up of Exchange, which is your email. OneDrive, which is people's personal accounts that they, or personal data that they sync, and then SharePoint, which can be more of a company-wide thing. It's also SharePoint and OneDrive also make up, it's what Microsoft Teams runs on. If you haven't heard about Microsoft Teams, you should. I have a video out there on Microsoft Teams as well. You can search the website for that. So anyway, let's take a look at this. This shows you the last backup date when we first got started with it, how many people are having problems with their data not being backed up. You can see everything's green. This really is a set it and forget it type solution. We have not had any problems or issues with this, but this is something that we would monitor. We actually get alerts if there's something going on. So by clicking on in here, for example, for Exchange, we'll get to see all the different users that and data that we're backing up. One thing that I would point out here, for instance, Cindy Weil has retired. However, we do have her mailbox, 12.6 gig. We do not have an Office 365 account for her. We're not paying Office 365 on an ongoing basis for this account, but we still have her mailbox here that we can go back and restore. Not only can we restore it back, well, we can't restore it back to her original mailbox because we do not have a license for it, but you have the ability to go ahead and restore it to someone else's. You can see back up here at the top, there's a backup currently running right now as we're going through it. So if we were to find a user, you can search for them by name. We click on mine. I have 24 gig worth of data in my Exchange mailbox. So up here at the top, we could pick mail, we could pick contacts, we could pick calendar, and then you can see here we can go back. Today we have 2 different snapshots already. You can see yesterday there was 3 snapshots. We can go back to April 1st. There was a snapshot on that day. You can go back at any point in time and pull out data to restore from. So for instance, if we were just to go back to September 14th, pick the 1 o'clock timestamp there, find my inbox. You will then see a list of everything that I had going on. Here's all my different folders. If we actually went to the end, I guess it'll show me all the different individual emails. You'll see these emails are dated way back 9/14/2018. You have the ability to go ahead and select a few files and do a restore, or you can actually do a full snapshot of all your data. When you actually click on restore, you have the ability to say, okay, just the selected items, or do a whole snapshot of the whole mailbox. Then here it shows where you want to restore it to. So this would restore it just to my mailbox. Now again, as I said, we don't want to restore over the data that's currently there. So what Backupify does is it'll create a new folder in your inbox called Backupify with the day's date of the day you're doing the actual restore, so today's date. And it would put that full folder hierarchy inside there. Now I'm going to go ahead and restore just these 3 items. I'll restore that back to my mailbox, and we'll take a look at my mailbox here shortly and see what that looks like. We do have the ability in here to actually search, so I could search for everything that said Microsoft in it, and that's going to pull up a bunch of crap. I could also then go in here and say which users I want to search for. So you can actually, not sure what email and who might have received it. If you knew a term that email used, if you knew a couple of users that were included with that, you can see all the Microsoft ones that dumped down. You can even see that some of these go back to 2014. This would show any exports that you did do, and you can go back and use. This also shows all the restores that have happened. This is the one where I deleted my phone data. Instead of just picking the terms from 2018, just the email, I went ahead and decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and restore everything in my inbox. So it did a 6 gig restore. You can see it here. It took 5 hours to restore all 6 gig. It's taking that data from Datto's data centers and then moving it over to Microsoft servers. So moving 6 gig does take a little while, but there is 5 hours to get complete. So that's Exchange. OneDrive will show your different folders. If we pick Joe here again, because I think I have some data in my OneDrive, you can see the folder structure that I have on my OneDrive, and you can dive into that as well. I guess probably don't have any data on that one. I have data somewhere. Again, the status page, SharePoint's kind of the same thing. Inside here, you can see all the data that we have. Most of this data is in regards to our Microsoft Teams setup. And there's data within there that we can go ahead and restore. This would show you folder structures. There'll be files within there. Here's the Teams data. There should be some documents in there somewhere. Don't look at our clients. And you could restore data from there as well. So that's just quickly how we get in there and do data restores. Inside here, you can actually pick users that you want to do the backup for. The really nice thing about this is it has an auto add. So for instance, once we set this up, maybe you have 10 different employees. You added another employee. We added an Office 365 license for them. We do not have to come back into this backup environment and select that user. It'll automatically select that user whenever they're added. So again, we're not forgetting to do something and having somebody new having their data be lost. And then we do have reporting. So it is important because if you do have an admin account, you can come in here and restore anybody's data to anybody else's mailbox. So with that, you need to have some kind of audit going on with there to make sure you don't have somebody rogue in the background going through the the accountants or the CEO's mailbox and restoring stuff to theirs and looking at things that they're not supposed to be doing, you would have accountability here to do that. I believe that's all I kind of wanted to cover in this. Hope you found this information helpful, and to see the importance of backing up your data in the cloud. Office 365 is what we covered here, and then how simple that can be and how simple the restore process is. For some pricing and some more information, please check out our website or give us a call using the information below. Thanks for your time.